in Queensland at the moment, and I can tell you there's probably about 3 or 4 projects going on around me. Besides the fact that I've just finished one, not quite, but we've got demolishing happening right across the fence from me, and this place is just buzzing. I mean, the development over here is just going crazy. And that's kind of a little bit about what we're going to be speaking about today.
It is. And development, I'm in New South Wales. I'm up on the Central Coast and we wake up to the heavy machinery. There's so much residential building going on around here. It's not funny. Huge. That's what we wake up to every day. So we are talking about what's happening in, I guess we're going to talk more about Southeast Queensland today. We're talking about a $750 million bet on the future of Queensland logistics. And Mish, I'm a bit excited about this. I really like this topic. It seems that Amazon isn't just arriving in Brisbane, they're building a robotic empire in Logan.
Well, Sam, interesting you say arriving in Brisbane. It almost seems to me like Amazon is purchasing the whole of Brisbane. I- they've got Brisbane in the palm of their hand. Yes, in Logan. And it's just incredible what they're planning on doing over there. And I believe they've been given the green light, so we can dig into it. But we're talking about a 4-level fulfillment center in North Maclean, which, for those of you that don't know, it is west of Logan. So it's kind of going slightly west of Logan.
Mhm.
And to give you a sense of the scale of the floor size of these 4 floors, it's equivalent to 18 rugby league fields. It's said to be one of the biggest warehouses ever built in Queensland. I mean, 18 rugby fields.
I can't even picture what that would look like. I can't even imagine what it would look like to stand inside something that huge. It just blows my mind when you told me this was the size. But the headline here isn't just the size, right, Mish? It's also the robotics part because, well, I believe that this is Queensland's first robotic sortable centre for Amazon. So what can you tell us about what this actually looks like on the inside?
Well, all I can tell you is when they finish this, before the robotics come in, I physically want to go and stand there and do a 360 with my camera and see whether I can see any
I
of the
was going to
walls.
say, I wonder if you'd even be able to see the walls. My head says you probably wouldn't be able to.
It's just crazy. Sam, I used to do quite a lot of work in China many years ago, and there was one center in particular that was over 1 kilometer long, and you actually could
Oh,
not see. If you stood on the one side, you could not see the back wall on the other side. So I'm
oh my
imagining that this is
goodness.
going to be something similar.
I'd say so.
It's monstrous.
Huge.
Anyway, so it's kind of what they're visualizing over here is a multi-movement of machines, a dance floor, let's say, of machines, robotics. And they're not just conveyor belts. We're talking about mobile robotics that can lift 500 kilograms and navigate autonomously, bringing shelves, products directly to the humans that are going to be executing. So it's just, the size is just immeasurable, nothing that we've seen before.
So instead of the workers walking to their shelves, their bays to pick the product, the robotics are bringing that to the workers,
Correct.
which is probably lucky seeing it's 18 football fields. Otherwise,
Yeah, well,
that's
I
pretty
think that,
big, right?
yeah, I'm imagining those 18 football fields are over those 4 floors, over those 4 stories.
Yeah.
Don't know if I'm right yet. Haven't seen the plans, but it would be interesting. But yes, Sam. So it's going to cut out a whole lot of moving parts where those robotics are going to be delivering the goods to the humans that are actually executing the orders. So we're talking about density and we're talking about speed. A facility like this will be able to house 15 million smaller items, electronics, beauty products, toys. The processing is just staggering. We're looking at 125 million packages in 1 year.
That's
125
crazy
million
numbers. That's huge.
deliveries. It's just ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
but anyway, that's the way of our future. And, it's what it brings to the area that I think is very exciting.
Now, what I thought was really interesting, because obviously when we think robots, we think job loss. People start worrying about future employment. But you were saying that the article that you found this information in said that there's a massive employment generator. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, I guess it's like anything, when we went through the steel revolution, everybody was saying, are there going to be job losses? But what every single revolution has created is jobs, job creation in different fields.
Mm,
And I think it's both. And this is the situation in this case. We're looking at about 2,000 jobs during the construction and about 1,000 permanent roles once this project opens in 2028. But the type of jobs is what's shifting. And that's what I'm saying about, all the revolutions that we've been through. We're seeing more demand for robotic technicians, IT support, system operators, alongside with traditional logistics and logistics roles, those sort of things.
mm.
So it's very different to what we've had in the past, but it's different types of jobs. So realistically, Sam, I'm a mother of young teenage girls. And I keep on saying to them, have a look at this kind of stuff, because if you want to survive in the future, this is where the future is going.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is where your kids should be, investing their energy now.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, don't put your head in the sand. Like, really look at the future. And 2028 isn't that far in the future. When you said 2020, I think in my head, I was thinking like way further in the future, but 2028 is going to be here before we know it.
It's around the corner. It's
Yeah.
24 months,
Yeah.
really. That's
Well,
what we're talking
even,
about.
yeah, that's exactly right. I was going to say even less, but I guess it depends. But we're talking, yeah, 30 years. Now, I want to talk about the approval process because apparently the Queensland Government and the Economic Development Queensland greenlit this in just 35 business days, which I cannot believe it got through in that time, especially for something, a project of this scale.
Well, I think what the Queensland government is looking at this and saying, hang on, wait a minute, we've got this as an opportunity. We've got Olympics coming over here. All of these are kind of happening at the same time. This is a brilliant opportunity for the Queensland government to grow and expand. So I reckon 35 days to push this through is,
Crazy fast. Crazy fast.
it would be great if they're pushing the development of all the surrounding properties through in 35 days as well. But let's
Mm.
not go there. I divert.
I'll keep my mouth shut.
That will keep a couple of developers hopping up and down, and I would support that. But it just shows how hungry the state is for this kind of infrastructure, Sam. It's
Mm.
located in the Flagstone Logistics Estate, which is managed by Charter Hall.
Mhm.
And they've already got Bunnings out there. They've already got large format retail out there. And now Amazon. I mean, that's the whole Logan corridor is becoming the logistics heartbeat of the Southeast Queensland.
Yeah. Now, I read there's been some pushback regarding the actual site, the Amazon site that we're talking about.
I have no doubt a site as big as this. I have absolutely no doubt because, there's not everybody's in agreement with the same thing. So there has been a little bit of tension. Local governments, or I should say local conservation groups like the Albert Conservation Association have been fighting this development in the area for 20 years. They're very worried about the biodiversity, koalas, quolls, cockatoos, and the government has ultimately just pushed it through and made it a priority development because they expect 50,000 new homes to be going in nearby. And I haven't read anywhere about whether they're going to be approving those new homes in 35 days, but I sincerely hope so. And that's probably another article that I need to go and look for. But 50,000 new homes
Yeah, that's
is,
huge.
times that by two, if you've got an average of 4 people in a home, it's an assumption, of course,
Yeah.
you're looking at 200,000 people in that area alone.
And that is, we're talking about Amazon, but once you start talking about that much new growth in an area, that infrastructure, then there's so much more that's needed, right? Then you're talking schools and hospitals and retail and petrol stations and, all the rest of it. So it's not just, your Amazon and what's going on there. That's huge.
Absolutely, precisely, Sam. And I don't know what their plans are for trains and buses
Mm,
and transport systems. Again, something I haven't looked into, but it's going to be very interesting to look into that because I would think it's a no-brainer that, they're going to have those kind of infrastructures going in. But from a real estate perspective, it highlights a bigger issue. And we're running out of well-located land. And as quoted by Vanessa Radar from Ray White, she pointed out in a piece that if you want a massive high-tech facility, you have to go further. You got to go out of the city because there's only one place that exists for something as big as
Yeah.
this. This is out of the city, you know.
Yeah, you're not going to get 18 rugby field size land anywhere near the city. Yeah, so you have to move that. So if you live in Southeast Queensland, your Amazon packages are about to get a whole lot faster, I'm thinking.
One
But it
would hope.
also means that, Logan's changing forever.
Logan's going to be a whole new city. I mean, Logan does pretty much run as a whole separate city as it is, but I think it's just about to change face completely. Yeah, so
Mm.
it's fast, it's automated, and that's the new version of 2028 coming our way.
Yeah, wow. Blink and it'll be here, right?
Yeah, right. Blink and you'll
Yeah.
see robots running outside.
Wow. Thanks for bringing this topic to the table, Mish. I think this is real. I think it's exciting. I can also understand how it probably will, scare a few people or make people think. But, we do need to keep these conversations top of mind, like you said, for employment, but also obviously for what's about to happen in that area and, breaking down the robo warehouse for us. So we'll have links to the site renders and the full articles in the show notes below, the articles that Mish talked about. So thanks for bringing this topic, Mish, like I said, and thank you for listening to another episode of Revolve Commercial.
And thank you for your time, Sam.